A couple of things about leaders, and John and Gary have touched on some things. I wanted to wait until they were done to kind of incorporate this in. One is, as a leader, I want to tell you something that's going to shock you. I don't want you to spend too much time in preparation. The rule of thumb is if you spend 10% more time in preparation than what you're asking of the people in the group, you're probably about right. The reason for that is we don't want you to drive the group. We want the material to drive the group. And that's what John alluded to earlier and what Gary has been talking about too. If we set the bar so high that our apprentices think they could never reach it, then we're probably making a mistake. One of the misbeliefs I think that we have is that it would be wonderful to have a church full of theologians to lead these groups. In all actuality, it might be better if we don't have theologians leading these groups. We want people that have the giftedness that these people have talked about. And, you know, as we grow, I mentioned that every semester this group could double. Do you realize in 4 times how many people there's going to be? We're not going to be able to say, wow, we need these people. We know this person has this great giftedness and they're a fantastic Bible teacher. We're going to be reaching out and getting people saying, you know, this people has a heart for Jesus. They're trying to make him the Lord of their life. They're really sincere about it. They love people. They have leadership quality. This would be a person that would be a good growth group leader. But so if we don't raise the bar so high in our preparation that they think they have to be a theologian, we're actually will encourage more people to be leaders. A couple other things too is that one of the things I like is what the guy was talking about when they were going to pray, and the guy who was like really in the know on the Bible said, well, let me start, because they were going to pray out loud, and he just said, dear God, thank you for the weather. And the other person's there, and they don't know much about God, but they think, I could do better than that. Okay? So don't offer up some eloquent prayer that you think only God could understand. Keep it real basic. Every week we go out for lunch, and a lot of times Ray prays. And I like how he prays. He probably doesn't realize it. He starts out and he goes, hey, God. And I just think that's so cool to say, hey, God. Because if I wasn't theologian, whatever, I would think this guy's just talking to God like he's his friend, and I can do that. I can understand that. Okay? So just wanted to let you know about that. Don't intimidate people from being leaders. The other thing too, I think, is John asked about it. I would just tell somebody, you know what? I see a lot of giftedness in you, and I would like to help you to develop that potential if you'd want to, and encourage them in that, and don't scare them off that way, but do that. Is there any questions here?
What if you literally have no one in your group who would fall into this category?
It could happen. That you would not have anybody in your group that's in that category. It could happen. I agree. But you might have 2 or 3 too. So
I'm not going to be held accountable if I don't have an apprentice or whatever. I won't.
No, you don't lose points if you don't have an apprentice.
I'm scared.
The other thing too is that by lowering the bar, we might raise up more apprentices too. You might say, if I teach in such a way that I'm so eloquent and so perfect, they think they have to be like me. Not that I could do that. Then they would think that they couldn't possibly do it. But if you're just a person, why we get you up front on Sunday morning is to let them know these are just people. I think I could sit and learn with these people. They're not somebody in a white robe, like I said, that's all holier than thou. And so lower the bar. And you both had some good things to say about other people and about understanding people and really listening to people. I can understand. I have a struggle too. I have ADD, and so therefore I think I can be thinking about the next thing while you're talking. That's not possible, but I haven't convinced myself of that yet. Okay? And I thought one of the things that you showed was vulnerability when you talked about that. And that's good in front of a group to do that, because sometimes when people are talking, I'm thinking of the next great thing I'm going to say because I believe I can multitask, and I can't. Ask my wife. I can't even single task most days very well. Okay? If you want to turn in your book to page 9, this is just a sample syllabus. I would like to have each of you consider making out a syllabus, and this would be what you give to your people. Say, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to study. And then there's a level of expectation. They can see where you're at and where you're going and things like that. That's on page 9 and 10. I'm not going to go over it with you. It's so simple. You can just go down and do that. Also, if you get your syllabus made out, pop it to me in an email, and I'll pop it to other people. And it gives them a good springboard for what to do. All right? If you notice on page 10, there's a place where it says serving on Sunday dates. If you want to serve on some different Sundays, you could have that, and you could have that in there, and they would already know. Or you could maybe the first meeting you're going to write down what those dates are going to be. So there's a place for that. Also, if you have a servant evangelism date, is good. And then we're going to be talking a little bit about the last time that you meet. Generally, if you get a chance, could be just a play date. Just a time when you get together and it's just horsing around or playing. It's not even maybe really getting into the lesson that much or just finishing off or something like that. It's just a time to hang out, have a barbecue, or get to somebody's house. At the next page, on page 11, this is a possible itinerary for the first meeting, and I want to go over this with you because I believe there's a great value to just hanging out and doing absolutely nothing together. Oh, that's a quote from Mitch Moser. I believe there's a great value in just hanging out and doing nothing together. I think a lot of people miss that. Just to hang out and not even have a purpose behind it much. So this is a possible itinerary for your first meeting. Allow the people to arrive, talk, and snack. Food's always good. Todd came tonight and said, if I knew you had food like this, I'd come all the time. So have a snack if you can. Have everyone introduce themselves and share what they do or where they're from or why they joined the group or something like that. You can use your icebreakers for things like that. Introductory game, if you want to, you could do that. Once again, the icebreakers there. You could briefly introduce your book or your study or whatever it is you're going to do. Hand out your syllabus that you'd have made up ahead of time. And you could have bookmarks. Some people make little tiny bookmarks and they put in there and it says, okay, this week, right, read this chapter, this, do this, this. You can just make it out of regular paper and cut them out if you want to. Some people get creative enough to do bookmarks. So each week the person knows what they're supposed to do. And then we're going to talk next. We're going to show you the growth group covenant. You would hand that out, read through it together with everyone, explain the points as you read each one, answer any questions. If anyone tries to be difficult or disagreeable about it, just offer to talk to them after the meeting. Don't disagree over it during the meeting. It wouldn't be productive at all. And then explain and ask for volunteers for different roles within the group. And you might have different things that you choose. Some have like a play coordinator if you want somebody who's going to, if you're going to have games or something like that. There could be the food coordinator, different people like that. You might want to, you won't want to ask, hey, who wants to be my apprentice? I think that's something that you want to hand pick, because you just might want to do that. It might be a good thing. It's one thing that happened before I got here, the semester before I got here, and so I don't know who did it. It's funny, but a growth group leader said that the first meeting, somebody said, I want to be in charge of games. I want to be in charge of the activities. I'm good at it. I love that. They said, okay, great. And so they signed up for it that meeting, and they're going to be in charge of all of it, and that person never came back to another growth group meeting the whole semester. So don't be surprised when things like that happen, okay? It's just colorful, the things that happen in a group. At the end, you could share some requests and pray together for 5 or 10 minutes, and then talk and eat another 15 minutes. So the first meeting, you might just set up the whole thing and make people feel comfortable. They may have signed up and thought, what did I do? Am I going to this thing? Try and think about your first meeting and say that for that person that comes and says, what did I get myself into? They would leave there going, oh, okay, seems okay. I think maybe I could do this. Okay? Try to think of that person instead of, how you do it, about yourself or other seasoned Christians. Any questions on that? You don't have to do this. I just really would recommend you consider that. Okay? Two things that we're going to get into more and more, and we want to work with you. I want to explain something. If the growth groups are, say, going this direction right now, and up at the ceiling is the point they're headed to, but maybe we really believe it's better to go over here, I can't go like this, because that just doesn't work in leadership. So you have to make a curve and you have to go that direction. That's why now we're not telling you have to be at growth group leader meetings to teach, but eventually it's going to be that way. We're going to curve that direction. And another thing we're going to curve in that direction too is the growth group covenants. And eventually we want to have to where everybody does that. If you in the right rear pocket of if we gave you a new booklet, there are 10 of these already printed for you there. There's also 2 leadership covenants for the leader or coordinator or apprentice. Okay? And if you need more, I'm going to put them on the web page. You just click on growth group, click on leader on the left side, and I will have them there. You can print out as many as you want. Also, just let me know if you need more, and I'll print them for you and have them for you on a Sunday morning or something like that. Okay? So we'd like to have you do that the first meeting. Have everybody read through here and have everybody do that.
A lot of times it's good for them to express their concerns over something like this, because then you can see some of the issues that they're struggling with. It gives you a chance to see, what their next, it helps refine what that next step they need to take is. And you can really help them in a way like you couldn't any other way if they didn't come forward and say, I can't sign this because.
Right. It's good. It's good.
In that sense, is this a first meeting thing, or is
Yes.
this it?
Yeah, in your first week agenda I gave you there, the first meeting agenda, one of the things you do is go over these and have them sign these.
Okay, so let's
Yeah.
rip open those windows and get at it on day one.
Yeah, it's not really that.
I
don't think it's that bad.
I've had this experience in previous churches,
Yeah.
and that's the reason why I bring it up. Is that
Yeah.
I've had people literally leave the church and say, "Look, I'm not going to sign this thing
Yeah.
because I'm not going to do that," and we just have a doctrinal difference over what this word means or whatever,
Yeah.
and so I'm not going to do it. Dear friend of mine who wouldn't sign a leadership covenant because it said, "I will tithe."
Yeah.
He's like, "I give more than a tithe. I will not sign something that says I'm only going to tithe." And I'm just like,
Then he probably has
well,
other issues.
Yeah, and it does. It does open those sorts of things. But like,
Yeah.
you know, if we're trying to ease into getting to know the group, and then this opens the
Yeah.
opportunity to really see where you're at, it's kind of
And once again,
those two seem to be colliding forces.
You know, I've been having to go so far as to say the Bible says specifically that we're not supposed to swear an oath. Our yes should be yes, and our no should be no.
Exactly. I'm not going to sign this.
Okay, now I got a chance to talk to them about the
Yeah.
heart of that.
Right. Right. I think once again, if someone has an issue with it, say, "Hey, we can chat about this after the meeting." Don't bring it up and bring it into the
That's
meeting.
great. Mitch asked us to do it.
Yeah.
Here's his number.
Say, "Go talk." That's exactly what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to say. This is Mitch's idea. Here's his home number. Call him late and call him often. Okay. I want to thank you for coming. Are there any other questions or comments or anything you need to know?
Did you want us to sign this one?
You don't have to right now. I will. Do you want to sign it right now?
Well, I just wanted to know.
You can just sign it with the others, and if you hand it in, just go from there. You don't have to do it right now. Any questions or comments? I want to get you out of here on time. Start on time, we end on time. It's another thing. Start your group on time, end it on time. People respect it. Unless your game goes into overtime, then you can do whatever you want, okay? When you're doing the football.
I tell you, we're going to have some stuff added to this. Brad's been, we've got a little system, because we're doing fantasy football.
I get rules for the league.
Yeah, we have rules. And if you finish first, you get a little blue ribbon for your lapel. Second is a red one, and third is a green one. But if you finish last, you have to wear an Olympic-sized medal with a pink ribbon around it that says loser. Some people may not even want to be in the group.
You can take my sign-up thing out of there.
Yeah, we'll dismiss that one. It's good. Anything else? I really thank you for being here. I really, really, really appreciate it because we're taking this, we're trying to head this direction, and I've got to have you guys on board to do it and understand what we're about. So I thank you so very much.